Hey everybody, Weem here. Welcome back to Xsyon. We have actually moved, not too far away, basically through a couple peninsulas over in that direction. Our camp was over on the southeastern shore over there, but we found ourselves going south and north quite a bit, hitting the scavenging piles that are kind of off in the distance over there. It's kind of a, I don't want to say a long trip, but when you make that a few times, you get very tired of that. So we basically came around to the south shore here, found this kind of cozy little spot where we get to be on the lake. Look at that view. Still on the lake, and also have some scrap piles near us. If I awkwardly sprint up the hill, just right here, there you go. We've got scavenging piles just right here, so we don't have to go very far anymore. It's a very, very cool area. There's actually a lake right up there with a big waterfall that is coming down. We kind of looked all over the place, and it is pretty crowded. There's a lot of tribes right near each other, and we have some near us, but we got some space in between, and we're really not going to be that big. So yeah, this is the spot. Now I've been pretty busy, as I'm sure many of you also have been watching Game of Thrones, or at least watched that first episode. I literally just watched this a couple hours ago, and during that time, while watching that on one screen, I was busy chopping down trees. So you can see we've got all these wood piles. Now, I didn't carry all these over here. What I discovered pretty quickly was that you can actually, a tree will fall away from you always. So basically I stood on the other side of a tree, lined it up with where I wanted it, and chopped it down. Then you can run all the way out to the end of it. Even if the end of it is pretty high up in the air, you can still select it. And once that window is open for you to chop small or large logs, you can just kind of walk around a little bit and then chop, and then that's where the pile is going to appear. So while it does look a bit unorganized, I've got a lot of wood just right here up close and ready for us to use. Now, one of the things I wanted to focus on this episode is terraforming, and I've done just a little bit of that here, and this is something that we've been really nervous about. Coming from Wurm, having done a lot of terraforming for the area that we put our settlement in, none of us was looking forward to doing terraforming here, but I'm going to kind of give you an idea of how that works for those of you who don't know. There are a number of you watching who have not played the game, and so I'm going to walk you through a little bit of that and probably a few other things. Okay, so let's start with the terraforming here. Now, again, I got this started a little bit. I did some digging here, which got me some dirt, and I was leveling this area, just trying to get used to things. And this is very recent. I just was doing this in the last 15 minutes or so, kind of experimenting. And one of the things I can tell you right now, if you are a player of Wurm and you're wondering about the terraforming, it's a lot easier in this. Not that Wurm was difficult to understand, which I guess it kind of was. There was a bit of a learning curve. But not only is this a little bit easier to pick up, but it's also just easier. It's less time consuming. It seems like they didn't want that to be a major, focus of the game, is having to work too terribly hard to get a lot of this stuff done. So, and that works for us, having played plenty of Wurm. So you can see I've got this level area right here, and it's pretty straightforward. Now, if I actually bring up the terraforming menu here, you can see we've got all of our numbers. The last one here is our elevation. If I actually jump, you'll see that number adjust there. So we're at 50190, and I can tell by walking forward that it's a little bit higher right here. So basically, as I've leveled this, I can actually just walk up on this slope a little bit, and you can see we've got a level terrain down. I'm actually going to right-click that. We have a level terrain up, a level, lower it, raise it. We can clear terrain, and then we can do roads as well, which is kind of nice because you move faster along roads. So I definitely want to use that. So there you go, we actually lowered that a bit. I'm going to step up on this next one, right click this as well. Now, like Wurm, you do need to have dirt if you want to raise the terrain. But there we go. Now that went a little bit lower. Now sometimes it'll do that, and I'm not sure if I'm maybe too far away from the level area here, but usually what I'll do is I will just step to where it changes, just barely. There you go. And then we can kind of raise that back up. But for the most part, it's been really straightforward. I think what I need to do at this point now is basically turn inward towards our camp some more, because we're near the edge. I basically set the post up here, hoping that we can actually have our territory come somewhat out to this edge, so we could kind of build along, I'd say along the water, when really that's down there. I just mean along the upper edge here. And if I actually walk down here just a little bit, you'll see we've left. And now we are currently in at this point. So this really is right to the edge. Now, right now, I'm actually the only member in the tribe. We're currently maintaining the other tribe as well, which Kalohe is now the leader of, so that the things that we have over there are still safe. But we've moved most things over here. Once we get the rest over here, we'll switch those two guys over to this tribe, and then, of course, our territory will expand a little bit. But really that's okay. I really just kind of wanted to get it out to this upper edge, not too far down there, so we'd have this kind of cool view of the lake. So let's kind of continue this. Now with the snow, it's pretty difficult to tell, you know, is this in front of me level or not? So I've been really lowering the camera here, but again, you do have the elevation there, 50190. So I can actually just kind of step up to here, usually just a little bit into it when it's kind of gone up or when the elevation has changed, and then I will do my task. Now the camera snaps me back into position if I rotate it around, but there you go. You'll see I kind of drop to the ground and it is level. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Now the nice thing here is it kind of pulls up the grass as well. So if we were to build floor, you know, right here, the grass actually sticks up through it, but in leveling the terrain, it gets rid of it. So what I intend on doing is kind of leveling enough of this area out, maybe, you know, out to here, so we could do a couple of the 2x4 decks side by side and have a nice flat area here. And this might just be, you know, a work area, so that when we are crafting things and everything, we're just kind of here at the edge. Again, I like the view of the lake. I've mentioned that a few times, so what better place to actually position ourselves to do the work we want to do. Okay, so there you go. You can see I've got some work in there. We have a very straight edge and a very flat area here that's pretty wide. It should be wide enough to fit in the floors that I think would be cool here. All of the floors that we can do, if I actually bring this up, you can see they're 2x4, so they're all kind of the same size. So I can go ahead and lay the plans down. Kalohe, who is actually down fishing right now, he's the architect, and so I don't want to lay out too much, kind of leave it to him, but I'll probably put one or two down, at least project-wise, so we can kind of see what that looks like. So let's actually do that. We'll go with this one. We'll start the project. Get this guy down. We're going to just hammer away with my shovel, apparently. That'll work. Whatever gets the job done. So there you go. You can see we got this here. If I go to move, okay, so we can't move it too far out there. Wondering if you can even move it at all off the edge. Okay, you can move it one, just barely off of there. It's kind of cool though. I actually do want it to stick out a bit. And then we'll raise this up here and move it out to the end. Somewhere in here. Let's see, a little more my way, I guess. There we go. I think that might be good. Maybe right to that edge. So we can actually go ahead and close this out and leave that there, and then do another one. Let's do one more. Just kind of see what that's all about. And then maybe we could do something like rails of some kind or something. I'm not sure what the options are. There is kind of a palisade wall we can do with spikes. We might be able to put that here and have the spikes face out towards the water. That might be kind of cool, almost like they're rails at an angle. Something like that might be kind of cool. Let's see. So I was able to move this out 0.1 this way. And we'll just kind of walk this down here. And oh, there we go. Snapped right to place. So that's kind of what this would look like. Obviously, it would look like real wood when it was done. But anyway, we can get another one in here, maybe even two, maybe three, I'm not quite sure, if we leveled this out some more. But I do like the idea as well of having a road that goes down. We may have to kind of change the terrain in order to get it down there. That might just be too much work. Who knows? I don't know. We'll play with that and see. But I think this is definitely a good start. Okay, we're losing sun here, but I've got some more of this leveled out. I went actually a little farther past the platforms that I put down, so we're getting spread out this way. And then over here I started to go, but hit a familiar message that those of you who have played Wurm, you will recognize this. Let's see if I can do this again. There you go. You can't change this terrain. Granite is blocking. So anyway, my guess is, I don't know this, but my hope is, based on how simple all of this has been, that you just simply need to have a pick in your hand if you're going to terraform where there's granite. That's my hope. But I have seen the granite terraform. For example, the rock face, I've seen that flat, leveled off with a flat face. So I'm assuming it's as simple as that, but who knows. Now, one of the other options we have in here is to build a road, and I've actually done that starting just up here, and I laid these logs next to it. So anyway, you can see my movement is decent, but then once you get to the road, you actually go quite a bit faster, which is really nice. So I've just done this length from here down to that spot. I thought I might like to carry this to the water, but as of right now, our tribe ends basically on this slope. So right about here. So I couldn't really do road down there or anything. I thought it might be nice to slope a ramp down, you know, this way, then have it step over and have it slope down again, something like that. But we obviously have to have a bigger tribe. We have to have more people in it. And right now it's still just me until we get everything moved over. So once we get Kalohe and Reaper here, we might be able to play with that a bit more. But we're not really trying to go too crazy here. So I think what I want to do next is take some of the dirt that I have, the 12 that I have, plus I may end up getting more. I may dig some more of this out, and raise the terrain somewhat, you know, somewhere in here so we can kind of flatten this area. Something like that I might do. And that kind of gets into another option here as well. Once we kind of get things moved around, if we don't want this grass here, we can actually just click and clear terrain. Now I was a little too close to the log back there, so I couldn't do that, but this just kind of clears the models here. I guess the grass, for example, kind of gets rid of that, so it's kind of nice. Like I said, this would stick through the floor otherwise. So we are going to level this a bit, so that should get rid of the grass, but in some of the areas where we might want to build and we don't need it leveled, we can use that to clear. So that's kind of a quick run through of the various elements here. The raise and lower, just do it in larger portions. If I didn't show that, I feel like I might have, but maybe not. But that just kind of does big chunks, and then you can level that out a bit. So anyway, overall, as I mentioned, it was it's pretty straightforward terraforming. I am gathering the last bit of stone here to make a fire. We do already have one, but I want to put one on the deck, and I'm about to wrap this up. We just need 10 nails each. You can see I've got 44 here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up really quick. Let's see, we're going to open this, and we need the hammer and the saw. We already have the wood in there, so there's 10 nails. So I'm going to go through and build these 4, and then we'll have our deck here, and I think we'll probably leave the deck at this point, essentially. We'll probably move, I'm realizing I have 2 hammers, we'll probably move some of the bins down in this area, and of course we'll have the fire here. I'm thinking I'll probably center it here, and then we can actually kind of use this area to work on and organize things. Right now things are pretty spread out. Let's see, nails, go. Things are pretty spread out. We have baskets all over the place up there, obviously lots of wood and everything. So this will kind of be the place where things get organized. I think that'll work out pretty well for us. So let's get this last bit going. Working with my fishing pole apparently. So there we go. Now if I step back here, you can see if I wanted to go center, I would stand here for the fire. Now we may end up going farther down that way anyway, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just put this down. We need fire. Right, there's the stone. And this will kind of, oh, I can't place it there. I wonder if we can move it into place. I guess it's not a big deal to have it right here if I can't. Kind of just above it. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I don't remember if you can move. Okay, so you can't move the fire, but that's okay. It's centered. It'll be here. The basic idea was I wanted a light source over here, so when we did start organizing our baskets and kind of work area over here, we'd have some kind of light. So that'll work. Cool. We obviously have the road and everything. I'm probably going to clear some more grass out. May do a little bit more road around here so we can kind of move around kind of quick. That would be the plan, but I think for now we're going to leave it at that. I basically showed you guys the terraforming, placing down of some more elements there, and yeah, just keep it really simple. I do want to thank you guys for watching as always. I hope you guys stop in next time, and we'll see you later.